now, and I've been really wanting to take a few good long moments to reflect on the past year. Like I've had this urge to just sit down and take into account everything that's happened throughout the year, and this urge has been moving very strong within me since like November. And so I created a couple different lists of the aspects of my life or things that I have done that I kind of just wanted to record, like for the record, literally just mark off as my accomplishments. I have had coffee this morning, but my brain's I guess not really in the mood to be functioning all that eloquently. But oh well, the urge is strong, so I'm gonna attempt to process something here in this video, and we'll see how it goes. So first off, I guess one of the biggest things that I wanted to pat myself on the back for is not drinking alcohol. Next week, I think Wednesday or Thursday, will be my 300th day of not drinking alcohol, and I think a part of me wanted to record something on the day of, but starting next week I might actually be getting very busy work-wise, and so I figured I might as well reflect on it now. It's Saturday today. Yeah, now that I have time and I'm in the mood. So first off, not drinking alcohol, a lot of people ask me why I started. To be honest, it was mainly out of curiosity, and I think I'd come across something online. I want to say it was a Clark Kegley video, but I came across something online, and I don't know if it was just one source or just different sources here and there, but it was really just overnight, overday, just in one moment, I thought, oh, maybe I'll stop drinking for a while and see what happens, because I have had certain histories and relationships with alcohol and alcoholism that from my childhood, it was like this thing that I, without getting into too much of the details, but it was something I never wanted to do. So growing up, I was like, I'm never gonna drink alcohol. Like, I'm not gonna do it. It's just, I was like alcohol phobic. And then somewhere, I think sometime in college, I thought to myself, well, hey, like if you're deciding not to do this out of fear, or any type of a kind of place of negativity, you shouldn't not do it for that sake. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna come face to face with it, and I'll try to control myself, and let's just try it. So I started drinking in, I think, junior year of college. I started very late. It was actually with the priest. I went to a Jesuit college, and there was a priest from Korea visiting. I think he was on sabbatical there, and we went to, I think, this Japanese restaurant on Newbury Street. And I think I had my first beer then. I mean, of course, growing up, there were, like celebratory occasions, holiday seasons, or like, you have a sip here and there, but I was always like, ew, it tastes so gross. Why would I didn't understand why adults liked it. And even when I first started drinking alcohol, I wasn't really that into it. I like beer because I grew up like drinking a lot of carbonated soft drinks, like Coke, you know, um, Sprite, Fanta, all that. So I like that carbonated fizzy feeling, and I liked the sugar, I guess. So sweet and carbonated. That's what eventually like led to my obsession with champagne. But anyways, when I first started drinking, I started off by drinking beer with that priest, and then later with some church members. I remember drinking like blueberry beer, where they just poured a bunch of blueberries onto like this big pitcher or this contraption of beer. I don't even know what they call it. So yeah, at this point, I wasn't a heavy drinker. I didn't enjoy it. It was just something I did occasionally. And that remained the case until I returned back to Korea in 2012. And so I had lived in Singapore for a bit after graduating from college, interning and working, and just being so green and fresh, like out in the world and not knowing what the heck is going on, and just yeah. But I had been taking some. Wow, this is getting deep. I wasn't actually planning on talking about all of this. This is where my mind is going. Yeah, so let's just say I was going through a lot at the time, and I got really sick near the end of my time in Singapore. So like my mom literally had to fly in and kind of like carry me back home to Korea. It was a hard time for me then. But so I returned to Korea ill. I was am I gonna go there? Okay. So this story is too long, so I'll maybe address this later when I'm more ready to address all the details. But basically, I came to Korea because I was not feeling well, and I rested and took a break from everything for a few months. So this was in 2012. And then I got kind of bored and I decided to go work at the Busan International Film Festival. Because so my home was in Paju then, which is kind of north on the Korean peninsula. It's closer to the 38th parallel, North Korea. But Busan is down south-ish. And so for me, I thought, maybe this could be a chance for me to be a part of something that I liked. I loved watching movies back then. And so also it would be like a little mini holiday because I get to go seaside. And so I decided to work at the film festival that summer, fall. It's like a short-term period type of a contract. um, just like prepping for the festival and then during the festival. And so that first year, I think because I was so sensitive about my health, like Korea has such a heavy drinking culture, but somehow I managed to bypass it all, and I think I didn't drink that first year. But then the next year I went back to Busan. So, oh, hi, what happened? Maybe this is my camera's way of telling me I'm rambling. So let me just, yeah, my chronology may be off because I feel like the more that time passes, I really do start wondering, like, am I remembering things correctly or not? But I'm pretty sure the first year I didn't drink, and then the second year I went back and I drank a lot. I don't know what happened. I think maybe because throughout 2012, 2013, maybe I regained my health. I was feeling more open, more curious. I don't know what was going on in my head at the time. That, oh my god, that's 10 years ago. Wow. It's 10 years ago. Yeah. Anyway, so I drank so much. I drank so much that I think I got like a liver inflammation or something like that. I don't know the actual medical terminology, but I got sick. I had to go to the hospital, and that was probably the first time I drank so much in my whole entire life. I think it was 12 consecutive nights of drinking and heavy drinking every night. And so, I'm taking a trip down my alcohol memory lane. So yeah, I guess that's how I didn't even think about Busan when I originally was starting this segment off. My mind had jumped to a different place in my past history, again in Korea, in a workplace environment during which I actually had to drink a lot. But I guess it maybe started in Busan. So I think to summarize life in Korea, it encouraged me to drink. I'm not blaming it. I'm just stating like it as a fact. Like there's a heavy drinking culture here, and I didn't resist it. I wanted to be a part of the socialization, and I think I liked drinking eventually. It got to a point where I usually had fun when I drank. I initially I was a sleepy drunk, so I would just get very sleepy and sleep for a while and then rise from the dead and then drink some more. Yeah. So 2012, 2013. Oh, and then 2014, I believe, is when I made that trip to Bali and Indonesia, and I got into like yoga and meditation, and that was kind of my first taste of. So I tried Vipassana meditation then, and basically it was like the silent retreat where so you don't talk for like 11 days and all you do is meditate all day, and then during the evenings they have like educational video watching sessions, and you know that's a whole nother story in and of itself. But one of the results of me attending that meditation retreat was that I stopped drinking and I became pescatarian for not that long, maybe 6 months, 9 months, I forget, but it was like half a year or so, like following that experience, that I quit drinking. And then one day, I was in a social like gathering setting. It was a small gathering, and somehow I got ticked off. I think I got personally offended at something, and I took an angry drink. So I don't know if you can relate to what I'm talking about, but you know how there's like the oh happily drinking and like the oh I'm so sad drinking, you know, like there's like different types of drinking. And in that moment after my like long hiatus, the first sip I drank of alcohol was an angry sip. And I don't regret it, but it was a good learning experience because I realized that affected, in a way, subtly. I think it kind of changed the type of drunk that not that I always became, but it added like a tint, a color to the type of a drunk that I could be that I didn't think I was before. But this is all just like in my head. I don't know. There's maybe like science may say otherwise, but I discovered that I could become a whole new me that I didn't know that I could become. And I think, yeah. So I think it's important. I think it's not just for drinking, but for everything you do. What kind of an energy are you, like state are you in? Energetic state are you in? Mindset, emotional. How are you feeling when you're engaging in a particular activity? I think that really affects the outcome of the activity that you're engaged in. So anyways, 2014, 2015. Yeah. And then 2015 came. Another dramatic year for me. Life has not always been so easy. But it's in the past now, and period. But that was another whole new working and drinking experience. And so throughout the years, my taste, my preference in alcohol changed a lot. I remember in college, I loved beer. Not loved, but that was my alcohol of preference. Loved relative to like other types of alcohol. Like, I don't know if you guys, English speaking watchers of my vlog are aware of this Korean spirit alcohol called makgeolli. It's like the rice wine, that's what it is. But oof, drinking makgeolli in college, I would feel so nauseous, like, and so dizzy. So that was like, like I would stay away from that. And I didn't really have much of a taste for wine at the time either. And like whiskey, it just felt chemically like even in Singapore, I remember like whiskey feeling very like a friend of mine. First kind of, I guess, like gave me a taste of whiskey, and I was like, oh, like how do you drink this? So I didn't develop a taste for whiskey until much later. And even now I can't have too much of that. But yeah, in Korea, people drink so much soju, right? And 맥주, somek, beer and soju together. So that I had a lot of that starting from in Busan as well, but also in my whole 2015 work life experience. And also like in between here and there. Wow, I drank a lot. Now that I think about it, I drank a lot. No wonder. Like, so I thought one of the reasons my internal self nudged me into feeling curious about not drinking this year. I thought it had a lot to do with the last 2 years of my life, during which I drank a lot of wine and champagne, some whiskeys. But now I realize it actually started a long, long time ago. It just kind of culminated and really blew up for me the past 2 years. Okay, so this will be a video about just me and this drinking problem that I didn't know that I had since so long ago. Okay, so 2016, 2017. Was a year of like hard liquor. So I worked in China briefly, I believe, in 2016, 2017. The winter of 2016, 2017. And I remember feeling like I would have to drink some baijiu to feel better when I'm sick, which I think, I feel like there is some sort of, I'm not a doctor, but I really feel like sometimes alcohol can help. But I don't think that's true, but it maybe is just like a mental thing. But I remember I would feel sick, and sometimes like in my body's, I don't know, mind, like not my brain, not my reasoning mind, but like my body is just like, a shot of baijiu will do the trick. I'll feel better again. So I remember I had a lot of baijiu then, and yeah. 2016, 2017, baijiu, tequila. Huh. I think I have to like sit down and journal and like go back and like hug myself back then. Like, oh man, I must have been struggling. Okay. So that happened, and then 2018 was the year of cocktails. So I would work overtime a lot, and there were bars so conveniently on my way to and from work. So I had lived kind of far from the office for a while, but then I moved closer to the office because the commute was just so tiring, and I lived so close to the office that I could walk to the office in like 10-15 minutes. And it was like in the heart of Seoul, and so there were so many bars in my neighborhood. Like I would always go home, like, and on my way I would see just like drunk people walking around everywhere. But so yeah, I think I was very stressed from work, and by work I mean not just the work itself, but I think I struggled a lot with people, with interpersonal stuff, relationships, and I think I'm the type of person who, I don't know if I will at some point be able to become more detached and impersonal in my professional relationships. Did I just say personal or professional? I'm blanking. I meant to say in my professional relationships. But I feel like I tend to, there is no professional for me. I just am. And I am sensitive, and I guess I was also new to a managerial role. Excuses. But that's what it was. The role was unfamiliar. And me just being who I who I was, who I am. I think I really struggled a lot, not knowing how to draw boundaries, not knowing how to keep things non-personal, and yeah. So I was going through, work struggle at the time, and I started to drink a lot of cocktails on my way home. And then I went on a business trip, and first we were there as a team, and then later I was by myself. And now that I think about it, I was dependent on drinking. So I didn't really necessarily think that I was lonely at the time. But so what ended up being like what I thought was going to be a 2-week business trip, it turned out to be for like 3 months. And I didn't like it. I just ended up being kind of stranded there for 3 months. And so I would go to the grocery store and pick up like bottles of wine and whiskey and just, yeah, drink in my apartment after work. And also, okay, so I'm like thinking of different things that are happening simultaneously with these drinking adventures of mine, and media and boyfriends. These two are popping into my mind as heavy influencers of my drinking behavior. Because so then after, when I came back from the business trip, and that was like 2019, and COVID started, and so yeah, okay. During each phase of my drinking journey, maybe not during every single, but I am noticing a pattern there. Who I was dating at the time, and what kind of media content I was consuming. And now that I think about it, there was so much drinking on the shows that I was watching, and it was depicted and portrayed in the series as the norm. Finish work, go home, and pop open a bottle of wine. Finish work, go to a bar and start drinking. Be at work, open your drawer, and pour out that whiskey. Like, so I guess I was just a product of my times and culture. And yeah, the men that I was seeing at the time, the men that my boyfriends. Don't think I have had a single boyfriend who doesn't drink heavily. Can it be? I can't think of. Oh my gosh. I think most of my serious relationships were with men who drank heavily. So at this point, maybe it makes sense for me to reveal something that in the beginning of this video I was struggling to address. But my dad, I love my dad, and I'm not. It's so complex, but, and I'm not embarrassed by it or anything, but I guess it makes sense now. My dad's an alcoholic, and I used to kind of not necessarily really. I had no mm, no feelings, no judgments, no um, perspectives necessarily that were super defined when it came to the phrase daddy issues. um, it was just like, oh yeah, maybe, maybe not. Like, could be a thing, but just could not be a thing also. But now I'm seeing it's not. The thing is, I don't think it's really like an issue. Is it? Is it? Well, it is no longer because I stopped drinking this year, right? So maybe this was like the year in which I find a way to grow out of that version of myself that potentially had some dormant daddy issues. This video is getting a bit personal. I mean, not that my videos are not personal. Like, in general, I feel like I share stuff online that are personal. So this is like a magical thing about external processing, just talking out loud into a camera. And here I am revealing my whole life to the world. Initially, I had wanted to talk about the good stuff that happened from me not drinking this year. And so maybe I'll just end with that, because I think this got very personal and serious, like, all of a sudden. Which is fine, but the video's getting long, and I think I just wanted to document, like, message to myself, Minji, you did a really good job this year. I know it started as just like, I think I verbalized it as I started it out of curiosity, but now after having done this like 30-minute video of me talking about like my whole alcohol journey, I'm realizing that, yeah, there was definitely something more there, like more that guided me to make this decision earlier this year. And so, first off, sleep quality, I think, yeah, definitely does improve. You're a lot less anxious. I felt a lot less anxious, especially during sleep and upon waking. Just overall, your whole bodily functioning and system becomes a lot healthier. I mean, obviously. But like, I'm amazed by those people who can drink a lot and still like they're super healthy. That's very like, wow, like that's amazing. Like, I wasn't one of those people, but I was drinking with people who were like that, and so I didn't realize I didn't belong to that league of drinkers. I think, yeah. So my hair is I think it's getting thicker again. And I just feel less frail. There are a number of other reasons why I have felt frail, but there is this kind of continuous state of like, oh, I'm so frail. Like, oh, life. Like, this type of frail is gone. I still have like some joint issues that I need to work on, and other, areas, like other parts of my body that I can improve. But this kind of overall comprehensive, overwhelming sense of continued frailty, that's gone. I feel wholer. And Oh, the biggest thing I think that I loved about not drinking is, but hey, I say all this without necessarily saying I'm never going to drink again. Like, that's not the reason why I started this experiment. Um, I never say never, right? Like, the greatest perks and pleasant like advantages to not drinking the way I used to anymore was that over the course of the past years, I think I developed this habit of like it becoming like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm just kind of like waiting and getting anticipated to start drinking. But the thing is, like, if you start drinking, like, I can't drive when I'm drunk, and I can't do certain activities that require sober-minded me. And so basically, let's say I go to sleep at 12. If I start drinking like 5 or 6, still like 6 hours of my day every day that I'm just sacrificing so that I could drink. But now, because I'm not doing that, I have like an extra 6 hours every day to do what I want, if for nothing but for me to just be driving around. So mobility and time. I think that was a huge a huge benefit to not drinking. And also associated with mobility and time is that basically then it's like every day I just shut off at the end of the day with a drink or two or many more. But instead of having to just turn myself off every day, I can now have a consistent state of awareness. So I can hold on, whether it's holding on to a thought or an idea or just an energetic state, like to a state of being. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like I don't have to throw my day in. Like I can keep each day like going on and on and on. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that very well, but I don't feel like I'm giving up each day at the end of the day. I feel like I'm able to, there's other, there's emotional roller coasters, there's like stuff that happens in life, there's, events and thoughts and hormones, whatever. So there's a million different other reasons why I can definitely feel like, oh, I'm giving up on today and like just going to bed with like just not dealing with stuff, right? But I think when it used to be alcohol that makes me like put my foot on the brakes like that, it I think it would make my days feel so recyclable, like like plastic. If you understood what I'm saying, you're a genius. I guess like I want to be permanent silverware and not plasticware. Okay, I think enough of that analogy. Yeah, and obvious benefits like just having a sober like state of mind. That's great. I feel like I'm gonna be like, okay, that's it, and I'm gonna press stop, and then I'll come up with like 10 more reasons why like alcohol, like quitting not drinking alcohol for almost 300 days was a really awesome experience. Okay, maybe I'll just sit here and think and make this like an hour-long video. Would you like to sit with me and think? Another awesome thing I noticed was that, 5, maybe 6, 7, 10 years ago in Korea, if I was like, oh, I don't drink, I'm not gonna drink tonight, I feel like I would definitely have been met with a lot more resistance than what I've been experiencing in the past few months. It's amazing. People are so understanding, and I still have a lot of fun. Oh, that's another thing I realized. I behave drunk without drinking alcohol. So I don't need to drink. So I realized I get drunk off of the atmosphere and the people and the vibes, and the alcohol was just something that would hurt my body and make me feel pain. I still get natural highs from socializing with people, and to the extent where one day I was hanging out with some people and I wasn't drinking, and then this mutual acquaintance, she joined, and it was like the second time I was seeing her. The first time I had been massively drunk. This time I was totally sober, and she was like, oh my god, you're totally the same. You seem just as drunk as last time. So, yeah, just if you need to hear it from me. You don't need to drink to have fun. You can definitely enjoy yourself sober. So yeah, I'm really happy that I made this decision this year. I don't know how much longer my decision will last. It's really big. It's like almost this. It's like half quarter of my face. Anyways, okay, I got distracted. Okay. Golden Octopus is staring at me like, you need to stop talking and like end this video now. Okay, so yeah, if I have more epiphanies about like, oh yeah, like this was another thing I liked about not drinking, then maybe I'll post another video, or we'll see. But for now, that was me externally processing me not drinking alcohol for almost 300 days. If there's anybody out there who wants to try this, I would say definitely give it a shot. It's very subtle, but when you start to feel yourself returning, wow, at 46 minutes, I just had the realization. I don't know if I coherently stated at the beginning of this video that when people ask me why I stopped drinking, one of my go-to but very honest, like really direct answers was, I wanted to remember who I was before I began drinking, because I feel like drinking brings out, parts of you that you are, but you aren't. And there was a version of me that I had been before I began to drink so much, and I kind of just wanted to like recall who she was. And throughout the past 300-ish days, she's been returning to me like bit by bit, and that's been making me feel very happy. And that's, I think, kind of what I meant by it's making me feel fuller. I'm more here, you know, like life living Minju. Like I'm here, and it's a great feeling. It's very subtle, but you start, I think, from in my case, I started to notice myself returning in waves. Like, for example, like at the 100-day mark, 200-day mark, you know, such and such. So yeah, if you're curious, I recommend you try it. If anything, you'll give your liver a break for a few days, so that's good. And okay, so I will wrap this video up, and I have a bunch of other processing ear-in review video themes that I have in mind. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get around to doing all of them, but I hope I can, because like I said, with the added 6 hours a day to myself, plus so much more because I quit my job, I've actually been able to get a lot done this year that obviously I wanted to get more done, but I actually, you know, got to read a lot of books and to get creative in different and new ways, and so I wanted to review that as well on a vlog. So hope to do that soon, and thanks for watching, and